The fight between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach is finally over, and it proved to be a hell of a fight, exceeding all expectations. Here are the pros' reactions to this fight.
What'd you think about the performance? You thought it was a fair decision?
Yeah, definitely, man. I thought they both put it out there. Roach definitely showed up and did his thing. But Gervonta Davis is the champ, and it takes a lot to be able to beat the champ. But Roach definitely had something that we all wasn't expecting. Might have been the power, his combinations as well. He definitely came to fight, man. He got great skills, and it was a great fight overall.
I mean, you gotta understand, can't underestimate the underdog, bro. He's hungry, you know what I mean? They wasn't giving him no credit. They were making us see it was a slouch, you could run over. You can't do that in boxing. Anything can happen. You can have a great night, believe that. You gotta believe in your soul, and I think the kid was in there with his soul tonight. It was a good fight, don't get me wrong. And to me, it could have went either way.
Either way?
Could have went either way.
So you okay with a draw?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, a draw is not a loss or a win. For the fighters, it's like...
No. I know you're not okay with the draw, Paul. Let me make sure I clear that up. You're okay with the draw in this fight?
I think they did right.
Yeah.
It could have went either way. They chose a draw, one judge. So I think it's cool. I mean, they want to run it back, they can, but I won't do it. I just keep moving.
In the early rounds, it looked as though Tank was doing what he does and setting up a possible knockout or a probable knockout, which was what most people expected to see. And then over the course of the next several rounds, you saw that maybe the opponent, Lamont Roach, actually got stronger, moving up 5 pounds to 135 pounds. He was able to take Tank shots without ever really being in any serious trouble. That, I think, was unusual and disconcerting for Tank. He got a little desperate in the late rounds and began throwing much more than is normally the case. It created action, it created excitement, there was tension in the audience. It was a memorable fight, and I want to see a rematch as rapidly as a rematch can be made.
They said majority draw. They cheated Roach. Roach got robbed. A majority draw. They cheated Roach. They cheated Roach. Look at Jake. Everybody know they cheated him. Everybody know they cheated Roach. Everybody know they cheated Roach. Roach got robbed, and everybody knows it. And it was a 10-8 while they robbed him. They robbed Roach. Roach beat Tank. They robbed him. Rematch right away. They robbed him.
Definitely an off night for Tank, but Lamont Roach is the guy, man. He showed up, and Tank gave him a tremendous amount of respect in the fight, and we saw why. I mean, he's a great counterpuncher, he's very high boxing IQ. He always says, I hit harder than people think, I hit harder than my record says. He stunned Tank several times. Tank looked like the guy with the heavier hands, but Lamont had the better chin. So it's all relative. So if Tank hits real hard, but the guy can take it, doesn't really matter. And I thought Roach was brilliant tonight. He had a good game plan, but those early rounds are what haunts him. He's gonna lay up at night that he wasn't a little more aggressive early on, because early on there wasn't much going on. There was time for him to take places for him to steal those rounds. And obviously he didn't. I want to see what the official scorecard breakdown was and how they had everybody in which direction and which rounds. Super close fight. I could have edged it for Tank. Lamont obviously had great rounds. He was able to wobble Tank a few times. He got wobbled himself one time with a right hook, but I don't know, man.
Great
Roach
performance.
won the story.
Roach won the story.
Roach won the story. He didn't get the win, but he won the story.
Who you thought won? Lamont.
You thought Lamont won? By how many rounds?
I don't know.
You still want the Tank Davis fight?
Is that right?
You still want the Tank Davis fight?
What went wrong? What went wrong?
Take out a little steam or fire out of it, or is it still the same?
We're going to see. I'm the best fighter in boxing. I've been saying this, so.
Shakur, what went wrong for Gervonta in this fight? Just because, could we say maybe because Lamont didn't come in really?
I think he got overconfident. I think he was thinking Lamont wasn't that good. I told everybody how the fight was going to go. The fight went exactly how I said. Exactly.
After seeing this performance from Gervonta, do you believe your confidence has gone a little bit more up?
My confidence been up. I've been knew I was the best.
think of the fight, man? Are you surprised by the outcome? It was a close fight.
I'm not surprised the way Lamont fought. I knew Lamont was going to come to fight. It was the opportunity of a lifetime. He did a good job. He fought a great fight.
What went wrong with Tank Davis? I mean, I was
what was wrong with him?
Out.
Every night in boxing is not your best, you feel me? But at least you got the draw.
Would you like to see a rematch of this or jump into a fight with Shakur Stevenson?
They don't, whatever they want to do. You think it was a draw? I don't know. It was a good fight.
Hey man, what'd you think? The crowd didn't seem to like the draw. Did you think that was the right call?
Nah, man, I ain't gonna lie. I love Gervonta. Obviously, we come from a lot of the same shit. But I love boxing, and I seen Lamont Roach outclass Gervonta Davis tonight.
Yeah.
And I ain't against your Tank. I'm just a boxer. If you ask me, I'm gonna keep it real.
Yeah.
I thought Lamont did enough to receive the victory.
Yeah.
Obviously, it didn't go his way. It was a good fight. The boxing fans won. And shit.
About the knockdown,
I think if anytime you take a knee or touch the canvas, and it's through to a blunt punch, or even if you hurt and you go down, that's a knockdown.
Clearly in there, man. I thought I won. I thought I did enough to get the victory over a spectacular fighter. I told y'all from the beginning, man, that I got the skills to pay the bills. I've been telling y'all that. And I'm just glad I got to show it, honestly. I'm glad I got to show it. I appreciate, like I said before, I appreciate true boxing media. Some guys that didn't count me out. So that's just how I feel, man. I think I won. And I can't wait to do it again. I can't wait to dance again.
Before the fight, industry experts were sharing their predictions for the fight. Renowned sports commentator Al Bernstein had weighed in on this fight. He had seen no chance for Lamont Roach to defeat Gervonta Davis.
Roach is coming up in weight. He came up in weight doing that. I don't see him. He's a good fighter, but I don't see. He's nothing in his past tells me he's going to beat Gervonta Davis or even...
Richardson Hitchens' coach, Lenny Wilson, had also shared his insights on the potential fight between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach. He had provided a thorough analysis of the possible outcomes of the bout, breaking down key factors and strategies that could influence the fight's result.
So I think that if Lamont Roach got a good chin, you dig it, then it could go the distance. If you don't, Tank is going to put him out. But it can also go to distance because Tank know how to box too. I've watched him in the ring. I've watched him in the gym. I see what he can do. You understand? So, but if I had to bet my money, I'm gonna bet my money on Tank.
Stephen A. Smith had also echoed similar concerns about Lamont Roach, voicing worry for his chances in the fight. He further implied that the result could resemble what happened in Frank Martin's bout with Gervonta Davis.
Go ahead.
I think Roach is too small. I think Roach is too small. And that's my issue. I'm not questioning the skill set or anything like that, but it was similar to Frank Martin. You know what I mean? This guy comes in there and you got 18 fights. And I remember watching that pre-fight press conference when he was annoying Gervonta Davis so much and he cussed by accident. Excuse me. He cussed by accident. He was like, ooh, making this up. He hurt me in sparring and I knew Gervonta was going to come for him, and sure enough, that's what he did. Walked right towards him from round one on.
Trainer Derek Bozy Ennis had analyzed the fight between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach Jr. He went on to pick Gervonta Davis and strongly believed that he would come out victorious.
I think it'd be a good fight, man. Him and Tank. I think it'd be a real good fight, man. You know what I mean? I think I would have to go with Tank, though. I would have to go with Tank. You know what I mean? But I think it's a real good fight. You know what I mean?
Derek Ennis had issued a warning to Lamont Roach, advising him to avoid trading punches with Gervonta Davis, as Tank was sharper and more skilled in the ring. He went on to highlight Davis's exceptional fighting attributes, ultimately predicting a knockout victory for Tank Davis. He said, "Hey, with Tank, don't trade with him. You got to box, tie him up, you know what I mean. Walk him around frustrating, you know what I mean. Let him drop his guards, you know what I mean. But it's difficult when you fight Tank, man. It's difficult when you fight him, because Tank set you up with all types of shots, man. You can be beaten by Tank Man. Hit him with all kinds. If you can't punch, you in trouble. Fact, you know what I mean. But with Tank, you might say, man, it's gonna be a knockout. Mikey Garcia had weighed in on the fight between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach, praising Davies' style, which was backed by his wealth of experience and skills. Garcia highlighted how these attributes make Davis a formidable opponent in the ring.
Honestly, I think Tank is one of the very best fighters, definitely in the lightweight division. I don't think Roach will be a huge threat for Tank. Tank is very talented, very skilled, and also very experienced at this point now. He's fought and seen pretty much every style there is.
Mikey Garcia believed Lamont Roach wouldn't pose a significant threat to Gervonta Davis, citing Davis's superior skills and knockout power. He had emphasized that Tank's ability to deliver devastating punches would make him a dangerous force in the ring. He said, his power is tremendous, where he has that knockout punching power, and he's got the confidence to do it. And you just see his demeanor, he's just confident. He knows he's going to, go out there and execute it, so it's hard to go against Tank. Mikey Garcia had expressed respect for Lamont Roach, but had not hesitated to label Gervonta Davis a beast. He confidently predicted that Davis would come out on top once again, citing his impressive track record of victories in previous fights as the reason behind his unwavering belief in Tank's dominance.
Again, not to disrespect his opponent Roach, but I think Tank is a beast, and he's been proving it every fight. He probably will win this fight as well. Again, it's hard to say and go against Tank. He's proven himself.
Prior to the fight, Rolly Romero shared his thoughts on the upcoming matchup and took a moment to praise Gervonta Davis, acknowledging his impressive boxing career and exceptional skills. Romero, who himself has faced Davis in the past, expressed respect for Tank's talent and the impact he's made in the sport. His comments further fueled the anticipation surrounding the fight, as many were curious to see how Davis would perform against Lamont Roach.
I can't go against Tank on that, man. The dude coming up, and Tank, Tank top 3 pound for pound fighter.
At the same time, with Lamont Roach as his opponent, boxing pundits believe Tank Davis could be facing a genuine threat in the ring. Jermaine Ortiz, while acknowledging Tank's dominance, noted that Lamont Roach could bring a serious challenge for Davis. According to him, Tank had been knocking out smaller opponents in the past, and with Lamont Roach, he would have to struggle a lot facing him in the ring.
We'll see. I just think that Davis really got that knockout power. He doesn't have a lot of output. He's fighting somebody who's closer to his height. I think it would be more of a fight. I think the last time he fought somebody shorter than him was Pitbull, and he tried to box him and he came out. A lot of people didn't like that fight in the sense of, I assume people thought Pitbull won the fight, or it was just a closer fight.
Regis Progress also weighed in on the potential fight, expressing his belief that Gervonta Davis would have the advantage over Lamont Roach. He said, "It's hard to go against Tank, bro. It's hard to go against Tank. You know what I'm saying? Lamont Roach seemed like he's real confident, but a lot of people seem real confident, but it's hard to go against them, especially when they get hit by that." Further adding to his narrative, Regis shared his predictions for the fight, suggesting it would go the distance. He pointed out that the outcome could resemble Gervonta Davis's fight with Pitbull, with a similar dynamic unfolding in the ring.
I feel a distance. I feel Tank distance. Yeah, I feel Tank, but distance in a controversial fight. How about that? Ooh. Tank distance and people in a controversial one. Something like kind of like how Pitbull was, like that.
Claressa Shields also shared her thoughts on the potential fight, urging people not to underestimate Lamont Roach. She praised his fighting career, emphasizing that Roach should not be overlooked.
I don't know why everybody is kind of sleeping on Lamont, but he has a decorated amateur career too. He's a very sturdy kid. He's very skilled. Tank is Tank. And when I say Tank is Tank, I mean like he's a bad man.
While some critics had raised doubts about the matchup, WBC featherweight champion Stephen Fulton also weighed in on the situation. He shared his perspective on the fight, defending it as a must-watch showdown. Fulton emphasized that despite the criticism, the fight was valuable, acknowledging the impressive careers of both Roach and Davis and why this matchup was regarded as an exciting one.
Only people that criticize the ones that don't know the history between the two, or that don't know certain fighters in certain weight classes. I can say. But guys like me and everybody else that came up in my era, as far as like the amateur stuff, I want to see the fight. Like I think it's a good fight because I know both of them, and they got history. We all know of each other, things like that. So.
Further breaking down the fight, Stephen Fulton had predicted that the first 4 to 5 rounds would be closely contested, but after that, he believed Gervonta Tank Davis would begin to dominate Lamont Roach. Fulton also raised concerns about Roach's chin, fueling the ongoing debate about whether he could truly defeat a highly skilled fighter like Davis.
I think it's going to be a really close fight early, probably the first 4 or 5 rounds, and then I can see Tank coming in and probably, putting him away. I'm not sure about Lamont's chin, but, we'll see.
Echoing a similar sentiment, former featherweight champion Gary Russell Jr. had also favored Gervonta Tank Davis in this fight. He referenced their previous encounter in the amateurs, where Tank had the upper hand, as evidence to predict Davis's victory. Russell acknowledged that the fight would be tougher in the earlier rounds, but he believed that in the later rounds, Tank would secure a knockout against Lamont Roach.
I favor Tank. I don't think in an actual fight, you can never count anyone out based upon the fact, they got to get in there. Anything can happen in the fight. You always got to keep that as an option. But if I was to choose, they already competed twice before in the amateurs. Tank beat them twice before in the amateurs. Now it's professionals. The difference is it's smaller gloves and no headgear. You feel me? So I think it'll be interested in the first half of the fight. But I think on the later half or the back end, I think Tank will probably get him.
Prior to the fight, Lamont Roach had come under intense scrutiny, with many critics questioning his ability to stand a chance against Gervonta Tank Davis. However, coach Stephen Bredman Edwards had stepped forward to clear the air regarding Roach's chances, offering a more nuanced perspective. While Edwards praised Roach as a talented fighter, he also highlighted what could have made his outlook for this fight even more promising. Reflecting on Roach's loss to Jamel Herring, Edwards noted that it was an unexpected setback. Despite the odds stacked against Roach, Coach Bredman believed he had evolved into a much better fighter since that defeat.
I don't know. I think that the people from DC know that he's a good fighter. He came up to Philly. He has a good reputation. He's a good fighter. I really like Lamont Roach. Cool dude, good fighter. I think what hurts Lamont Roach, honestly, is he lost to Jamel Herring. Mm-hmm. I think that's the thing that kind of hurts people's outlook on this fight. That's my personal opinion. I think that if he didn't, not that a loss is a big deal, but the loss to Jamel Herring, because Herring lost so bad to Shakur Stevens and I think the Jermaine Ortiz. Yeah, Jermaine Ortiz, I believe. And then it's kind of like looking at it like, damn, Herring is not on the level of the Shakurs and the Tanks and the Teofimos. Even though he was an Olympian and a world champion, he's not considered to be that level of special. And for Lamont to lose to him, it kind of like the opinion of the critics and stuff is like, man, he don't stand a chance against Tank. But they don't understand that Lamont could have got better since that fight.
While predicting the winner, Coach Bredman ultimately named Gervonta Tank Davis. He explained his reasoning, expressing deep admiration for Davis as a truly special fighter. While he acknowledged Lamont Roach as a solid and capable fighter, Bredman emphasized that Davis's exceptional skill and fighting stature make him the favorite in this matchup. Despite acknowledging Tank's strengths, Bredman believed Roach would put up a good fight and make the night competitive, but when it came to securing the win, Bredman saw no chance for Roach to come out on top.
I'm a Lamont Roach fan. I would love to see him do well in the fight, but if you asking me, is he gonna win? I don't think he's gonna win. Tank Davis is special, bro. Special fighter. I'm just telling you, he's special. If his resume was a little bit better, we'd be talking about him as the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. He's special. And whereas I think Lamont Roach is very, very good. He's the kind of guy you call solid all around. Now, can the solid guy be the special guy? Yeah, if he's having his night. having his night and everything goes his way, and he fights a little bit outside of his skin, a little bit over his head, and everything goes his way, you can do it. It can happen. We've seen it happen before. I mean, we saw George Kambosos beat Teofimo Lopez, right? George Kambosos is a solid guy, but everything lined up for him. He was able to win that fight. But if you're asking me who's going to win, I would say that Tank is going to win.
Jim Lampley, one of the most respected voices in boxing, shared his thoughts on Davis's unique abilities, emphasizing that even without his explosive punching power, Tank would still be an elite lightweight. Lampley's words capture the essence of what made Davis such a dangerous opponent in the ring. He said, even if Tank did not possess his shocking punching power, he would be an elite lightweight on the basis of his crafty boxing, southpaw style advantage, clever footwork, and visible killer instinct. But it is pure power that really sets him apart. He doesn't just beat his opponents, he annihilates them in breathtaking, often scary fashion. Teofimo Lopez also shared his thoughts on the fight between Lamont Roach and Gervonta Davis. Reflecting on the history between the two fighters, Lopez pointed out that their relationship goes back to their amateur careers, where both had a chance to observe each other's style. He acknowledged that this familiarity would make for a highly competitive bout, with both fighters fully aware of what to expect from one another. Teofimo confidently predicted a victory for Tank Davis, emphasizing that Davis would ultimately wipe Roach out in the ring.
Yeah, Roach. Well, they've known each other for so long now. You know, they grew up nearby in DC, and I think overall, I think it's gonna be a good fight for as long as Tank wants it to be. Yeah.
You mean like he could get him out of there anytime?
I think he will. I think Roach, they know each other very well. They know what type of styles they like to put on. I mean, they used to fight a lot in the amateurs, probably sparred too. So, I think that it'll just go to show. But remember, everybody got to realize, Lamont Roach is going up to 135. He's going up a weight class.
Right.
And I think that's what makes me think that Tank should wipe him out.
Despite the skepticism from many in the boxing industry, Lamont Roach remained confident in his ability to win. He had a strong belief in his skills and was convinced that, after putting in the hard work and preparing to the best of his ability, his talents would shine through on fight night. Roach was determined to use his skills to their fullest potential, confident that he would dominate Gervonta Davis on fight night.
I knew twice. I'm gonna go out there and do my job, man. I'm gonna go out there and do what I know how to do. I've been working hard. I've been working real hard. My skills are to be spoken for on its own once I get out there. So we're gonna make it do it.
One of the other voices was Oscar De La Hoya, who weighed in on the matchup, acknowledging Roach's skill, but also recognizing the challenge he faced against a fighter like Davis. De La Hoya expressed admiration for both fighters, particularly for Davis's dedication and strength, and despite the odds, he left room for the possibility of an upset. He said, "I think Lamont Roach is a terrific fighter. He might be a little over his head with Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis is, to say the least, he's a beast. He really is. He's Gervonta Davis, a tremendous fighter." Oscar added, "He's a dedicated fighter when it comes to training and fighting and making sure that he's in optimal conditions when he steps inside that squared circle. It's gonna be a tough night for Roach, but you can never count him out." Another fighter backing Tank Davis was Demetrius Andrade, who believed there was no one capable of beating Davis in the ring. Andrade praised Tank's exceptional fighting attributes, which he believed were clear indicators of Davis's dominance in the sport. He further elaborated on the qualities a fighter would need to have in order to challenge Tank, emphasizing just how difficult it would be to overcome him.
I don't think anybody can beat Tank because he has speed and power. You really have to have speed, real speed, footwork, and IQ to beat Tank. You don't have to have the most power. You just need to have real speed to keep him, off balance, have him thinking more. I don't really see no fighter that can do that.
Bruce Carrington had also weighed in on this fight and had emphasized the importance of their initial encounter. He suggested that Lamont would have a deeper understanding than anyone else of how to handle Tank, given his strong fighting attributes. Bruce believed Lamont was now better prepared to counter Tank's techniques, drawing on his increased experience from their previous interactions.
I feel like, because they have experience with each other, Lamont might know some things about Tank that most fighters don't know, like maybe little quirks or body language that he's hurt right there, and okay, when he does this, that kind of bothered him, that other people might not be able to read. because they just didn't work with Tank that long enough, to be able to figure that out.
Commenting on this stylistically intriguing matchup, Carrington highlighted the fighting attributes of both Tank Davis and Lamont Roach. While he noted that Roach would struggle to keep Tank at bay, he also acknowledged Roach's athleticism, which could present challenges for Davis. Despite the potential difficulties, Carrington had predicted that Davis would overcome Roach in the early to mid rounds.
I feel like it's going to be a good matchup because of that. Lamont's style is pretty well too. I wouldn't say he has that much pop to keep Tank off of him, but I feel like his style is pretty good to fight to match up with Tank. But I still don't see him being enough to stop Tank. I still think that Tank stops him probably in the later rounds, mid to late rounds, and but I think it will still be an enjoyable fight to watch.
Michael Fox shared his thoughts on how the fight would unfold, describing it as a highly competitive matchup. He compared the fight to a chess game, where both Davis and Roach would be strategically trying to outmaneuver each other. Fox emphasized the technical skills of both fighters, predicting a battle of wits as they each would seek to outsmart the other.
I think it'll be competitive. The thing about both fighters, Tank and Lamont, they're both very impressive boxers. A lot of people forget that just because Tank is also a big puncher, but this is gonna be chess. It's gonna be chess. It's gonna be both guys trying to one up each other a bunch of times. So.
Tank Davis has earned recognition as a fighter with an edge over all his opponents, often dominating in the ring and establishing himself as the ultimate equalizer. However, Michael Fox revealed that this fight would be different. In this matchup, Davis won't just be looking for a knockout shot. He will need to carefully navigate the challenge presented by Lamont Roach, who brings a unique set of skills to the table.
It's definitely not gonna be sweet. We know Tank had the equalizer, but the biggest difference I feel in Lamont versus Tank's other opponents, we all know Tank a different way than everybody he's fought against previously. Just in the sense of I know the last thing that came to Tank's arsenal was the punching power. Before that, he was athletic. He was a very impressive boxer. So it's gonna, it's not just him looking for the big shot. This is gonna challenge both of their boxing skills and both of their fight IQs, Tank and Lamont.
Moving on, Gervonta Davis is often regarded as an untouchable fighter, known for his ability to knock out anyone in his path. However, Big Tim doesn't believe this will be the case in his upcoming fight. He warned Davis of a serious challenge ahead, emphasizing how formidable Roach is as a fighter. Tim predicted that Roach would shock the world when he steps into the ring with Davis on March 1st. Moving on, Gervonta Davis was often regarded as an untouchable fighter, known for his ability to knock out anyone in his path.
One thing I can say, he's ready, and he will shock the world. I think a lot of people are now starting to realize and know who he is, not just as a person, but as a fighter. And he's a hell of a fighter. He's a great world champion. And he's going to put it on display March 1st. He's going to shock the world.
Reflecting on whether this fight would go the distance or end with a knockout, Tim described it as a situation that could go either way. However, he confidently asserted that Roach would give his best performance. Tim then issued a stern warning to Davis, telling him to brace for a brutal beating. He emphasized that Lamont Roach is fully prepared to teach Davis an unforgettable lesson in the ring.
It depends, Tank don't want to submit, lay down, we're going to put him down. But overall, he's going to get ass whooped.
Lamont Roach is stepping into the ring with unwavering determination to take down Davis, and he has strong support behind him, with many believing he will present a real challenge this time. Among his supporters is his brother, Jordan Roach, who shared his thoughts on the upcoming fight. He noted that both fighters are incredibly skilled, which is what makes this matchup even more exciting than anticipated. Besides sharing the excitement surrounding this matchup, Jordan emphasized that Tank Davis will face one of the most skilled opponents of his career when Lamont steps into the ring.
Single shot.
I think it's going to be a great fight. It's going to be one of the better fights of all time, probably. Tank is one of the best fighters in the world, and so is my brother. So it's gonna show. Tank is extremely skilled. Like, I take some things from him, but my brother's extremely skilled, and he's like you see all these people that come up in the amateurs. They've been winning the same tournaments, like how you just named Moses, Moen. Just like they won all them tournaments. My brother did the same thing. They all came up together in the amateurs. They always win in these tournaments. They've been good since they was 9 years old. So that skill, both of them having that skill, that's probably the first time that Tank's fought somebody that came up with that skill set. So it's going to be an amazing fight.
So that was all for today. How did you expect this fight to unfold? Did the performance meet your expectations? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon so you never miss any updates.